G'day, Josh here, and we're going to be looking at the sensitivity and layout settings to optimize your Battle Royale and your multiplayer experience in Call of Duty Mobile. So we're going to start in your sensitivity settings here. Before we jump into the button layout, I personally play 4-finger claw, but there are definitely other ways to play as well. Now the rotation mode is a big one, and I won't go into BR mode versus MP mode or Battle Royale versus multiplayer, as they are all essentially the same. Rotation mode is when you're panning around, when you're aiming. It's how quickly the camera or your view moves, and I like to have that as a fixed speed. If you use distance or speed acceleration, it can become a little bit too hard to predict and to control. So I set that to fixed speed, which means that the acceleration value therefore is not relevant. The sensitivity presets I obviously have to custom. So camera sensitivity. Standard sensitivity I have quite high. I'm a big fan of being able to do a full 360 with one swipe of my thumb, I should say, not a button press, one swipe of my thumb to do a full 360. So to get that done on this phone, an iPhone 11 Pro Max, for me that is 120. This will vary on your phone and on your play style, but my recommendation is to actually play at a higher sensitivity than you're used to. You will get accustomed to it and you'll eventually get a little bit better at the game doing that. So my ADS sensitivity is the same 120, as is my tac scope sensitivity, and sniper scope sensitivity is on 80 there. Not sure why it was showing as 79. I like to have it as a round even number. Same thing for firing. I have it mirrored on firing, and gyroscope I have turned off, so therefore I'm not actually using it. You do that under basic here. You go down somewhere, there it is, gyroscope off. So I guess the next thing to look at is these. Aim assist, sure, why not? It helps you get shots on target. Fast throw grenade, I don't like that. I like to be able to cook grenades and aim them perfectly, so I don't have fast throw grenades on. Quick run from prone, obviously you want that on. Joystick auto sprint, you want that on as well. The fixed right fire button is really useful for those that are playing claw like I am, so I definitely want that, and I have the joystick set to floating, not to fixed. I also have tap and hold to aim down sights. That is part of my 4-finger claw setup, and I'll show you the button layouts and that will make a little bit more sense. But another option for a lot of people is hybrid ADS, and that allows you to both tap and hold if you want, and as soon as you let go it scopes back out, or you just tap and let go and it will zoom in, tap and let go again, it will zoom back out. So if you hold, it will act as though it's a tap and hold. If you don't, it'll just act as a regular tap to ADS, tap to toggle essentially. I do have the left fire button set to display on in that setting, but it's actually hidden when I'm in game, so that's funny. Might be a controls thing. I'll have to go in and look at that. The ability to slide when sprinting, I like being able to do that as quickly as possible, so I just tap instead of a hold. Always sprint sensitivity set to about 65. Once again, play with that, but that works for me on my device. Not a super important setting. I turn off the gyroscope. The camera field of view, once again, it's probably device specific, but for me, it's on 60. That's perfect on this phone, and it's the exact same stuff in Battle Royale mode. One thing that I will also show is what I'm doing in terms of Battle Royale settings. So you can see my vehicle driving there is just typical buttons. A little bit easier for me with a semi-follow vehicle camera, but the loot settings are another really interesting one. I actually have all of my scopes set to 0, so I choose exactly what scopes that I'm picking up, and that way I have full control over what gun is being equipped with what scope. But you do have to keep in mind that when you swap guns, attachments do get dropped, so you'll have to re-pick up that scope. I don't pick up any hemostatics. I just pick up first aid kits and adrenaline. Adrenaline is obviously the key thing in this game, so I have that maxed out. 4 grenades, 4 smokes, 4 cluster grenades. I don't really worry too much about the other throwables in Battle Royale, and that is all of the loot settings taken care of. So the next thing to jump into, and this is, once again, it's the same in multiplayer and Battle Royale, the custom layout. The shooting mode I don't worry about because I'm not using that fire button that controls that. I'm using the static fire button. So let's jump into the custom layout. And a lot of this stuff is going to be turned down opacity wise, but you will be able to see it. I'll start off with the big firing button on the left hand side there. It is not the one that it's not this one here, which I have set to hide. That's the hip fire button. Or the one that you can fire and aim while you're firing. Because I use 4-finger claw, I hide that and I just use the static firing button in the top left Actually, let's bring this down a little bit. So that's my top left finger shooting up there. My top right finger is ADSing and also jumping. Then my bottom right finger is sliding or crouching, proning, and also stabbing. If I need to stab, that finger does that. And it also controls reload, my operator skill, throwing grenades, things like that. Also with the right thumb, I do the grenades and changing of guns and my score streak stuff down the bottom. And then all my left thumb does is sprint. I turn off the dedicated sprint button because I just use the joystick sprint lock. That's totally fine with the way that I set it up. And that is basically all of the buttons. You can see the map is moved down a little bit from the top just so I can use the top right corner for my 4-finger claw layout. So let's go ahead and confirm that. Now, what I would like to do, I think, as I go ahead and claim some rewards there, is I'm actually going to jump into a practice game here, practice versus AI. And I'm going to actually readjust the camera. Now, this might not work. So I'm going to see if I can try and get a position where the camera shows what I am doing. I think that's going to be as good as we get right now. But this will give you an idea. It's a pretty awkward position for me to be in, but let's just jump into a practice match. And this will give you an idea of what I'm doing with my fingers and how I'm playing. So you can see how I'm holding my phone there. It's just sort of sitting in that position. And then these fingers are the ones that come in and do this stuff. So I'm kind of, that's what's happening in game. So positioning is definitely super awkward, but I'll try and make it work. So I'm going to be on Kill House. I'll try and get this as centered as possible, and you can see what's happening here. So it is a little bit contorted in terms of hand positions, but it's not too bad. Once you get used to it, once your muscle memory sort of learns this is the setup, and you can see here that I'll be able to do a full 360 without taking my thumb off. So just a single swipe, I'm able to do a full 360 looking back at the car again. Or, oh, there we go. We jump into game here. So full that was a bit of a slow one, but a full 360 and we're looking back at where we started. So I'm able to do that without actually having to take my finger off and readjust here. Now this definitely isn't going to be my best game because the positioning is very awkward right now, but we'll try and get a few kills in so you can see exactly what I'm doing with my buttons, with my layout, with my hands. Always like to stay moving. Oh, I know there's an enemy behind me. I just didn't have a... Oh, there we go. It wasn't the enemy I was aiming at, but we got the kill anyway. Don't want to take them on because they still do have invincibility. There's another human in this bot lobby as well. I'm pretty sure the way that practice works is you can't actually have humans on the other team. You can only have bots on the other team, but you can have multiple humans on your side. So sometimes these practice lobbies can be over pretty quick, especially in a map like this. There is definitely someone, I'm guessing a human practicing his quick scoping. We get a UAV happening there as well. I think practice lobbies are also set as frontline, so they always spawn at one end. But this is giving you a very good indication of exactly what I'm doing with my fingers. Oh, as we get killed there, did not see that guy at all. Oh, shotgun, one shot, one kill. That's unfortunate. You can see there that I can basically do everything that I want to, that I'll be able to do with a keyboard and mouse. Maybe not quite as optimally, but I still can get it done. So we get a couple of assists there through the wall. Oh, didn't finish the reload there. Not quite the double kill, and there's the victory. We might have even got the final kill cam there. So I'm not entirely sure at just how much of that was visible, because I was, of course, looking at the game and not the camera setup. But hopefully that gives you a very good idea of just what you can do with the claw layout. Let me know what you thought of that video in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already.